Firstly, our product uses horror generic conventions by following the idea of teenagers entering a forbidden or abandoned area, which is considered to be haunted or been taken by a creepy figure, which also creates an enigma. And this will instantly tell the viewers that this is a horror story because the overgrown, the abandonment is a metaphorical imagery for a scary scene, and due to the dark and dinginess of the area, you can clearly see this is going to be a horror movie, especially with the opening scene when you see the flashbacks and then cuts to the character's eyes when he's laying on a track with cuts and bruises all over his face. And we also agree that Ryan, myself and Evan were the correct age for the scenes, because you usually find that it's teenagers who go around the areas and attempt to uncover the area, the surroundings, because teenagers seem to be childish and they do things that are seen unadulterated by superiors. We also used a darkened filter, well, not quite darkened, but a tinted filter to create a cold and dingy look to help add on to the idea of it being haunted, overgrown, scary. And so when the viewer first sees it, they don't think it's happy. They instantly see that this will not be a happy movie, it will be a horror. And we also used makeup for Evan, so that it really brought out the idea of him being beaten up, which you then can clearly see that this will not be a comedy or action, or maybe an action, but further on in the movie you can tell it's more of a horror, especially by the clothing that we're wearing. The developed conventions, we didn't want to use an abandoned house, because a lot of movies use abandoned houses. For instance, Cabin in the Woods, that uses a cabin which is basically a house. Scream has got a house in it. They were kind of the movies that we didn't want to follow, so we still thought that they have been abandoned, the abandoned area, but we decided to use a train station because not many places actually have an abandoned train station. We had the idea of the tracks because a lot of action movies use the idea of tracks, tying the user down, the character down, tying the character down, and then taking advantage of that because they're then stuck. So this also makes it part action because you have the horror with the area and the idea of being stuck. Creates a metaphorical image of freaking out, and it causes the character to freak out, especially with the cuts and being wounded. But our scene challenges conventions because some of it contains first-person cinematography, which you can see when the character's holding the camera. When he's holding the camera, you can, as if you're like the eyes of the camera, and also. Some of the other scenes when you are the mischievous person walking around looking at the other two characters. And this will also create tension for the user because it's first person, so if something was to jump at you, the idea of it coming into your face will make the viewer feel more on edge, so when watching it will more likely want to stay near another person because they are freaked out and they don't like it, and their body is designed to not enjoy this. Well, not that, just when it comes towards them, their reflexes cause them to jump because they are zoned into the area. And so this will follow the eye. This will challenge the horror conventions because not many horror movies do it, but will also go along with it because it still creates the horror part of it.